whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show. I'm showing off more of my new microphone. I elevated it a little bit. I was listening back to the show yesterday. I think it does better right here. So you guys let me know in the comments, and thank you again to those that donated to my new microphone so that I will stop cutting out. Kim McAllister is here. Of course, we have a fun show on tap. We're going to start off by talking about public relations. And I have thought this for a while, and I don't know if it's simply because I'm biased because I'm from the Bay Area, and I'm very, protective of my state and of my area. But I have firmly believed for quite some time that people like Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis have made a concerted effort to highlight the negative aspects of California, of the Bay Area, to kind of point to, oh, look what those liberals are failing at doing. The conservative way is the right way. Well, San Francisco is apparently going to be doing this positive PR blitz. It's already started in New York, which was this the right spot? We could debate it. But here's my question. Should they lead, and I'm talking about they as in the collective San Francisco Bay Area and even California as a whole, should we lead with the positive? Or should we do what I think that Texas and Florida and other states have done, which don't lead with our headlines, lead with theirs? So we'll get into some of those. I have some examples for you. Also, we are going to be talking about attracting business back downtown. A San Francisco supervisor wants to encourage colleges and universities to build campuses in the downtowns that are being emptied and people aren't returning to. Because if the youth come, will everybody else? So that's the question. Because there are, you go to some college towns, that's basically what is built. Their economy is built on the youth, for good and bad. I mean, you go to some towns like Chico State, they rent their housing to college students, they hire college students, and that comes with the positives and of course the negatives as well. I do want to touch on this Mission Peak poll. Kim, have you ever seen the Mission Peak poll? I know it's in Fremont, so it's more in my neck of the woods. Have you ever heard of this poll?
Not before it was vandalized.
Yeah,
but now I know exactly what it is.
So the only reason I know about it is because I'm friends with hikers. I myself am not one. And so basically I've seen this picture so many times. You hike to the top of it. It is a very grueling hike up this really steep peak, right? And then there's this pole, and it has these things so you can climb on top, and everyone goes, "Yay, I did it." I have zero desire to do anything like that. But apparently it was cut down. Now, I was watching this news report from KTVU, and I'll play a little bit of it for you. But what they were talking about wasn't necessarily the vandalism, but the controversy surrounding this specific area and this hike, because it's very popular. And I think, people like to hike and they like, to challenge themselves. And I think that there is a percentage, and I won't say how big of a percentage, of people that want that picture. They want to take that picture. So they're going to go through whatever they can to take that picture, to post it on social media so they can be part of the cool club. And they did it. And it brings a lot of people to this area. So I want you guys to think in the comments, are there any areas near where you live that are annoying like this, where it draws people from out of town, out of the area? Because there's this push and pull of, should there be more restrictions on out of the neighborhood people going to Mission Peak? And it's pretty contentious, as you'll see from the news report. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Oprah Winfrey being criticized for asking people to donate to their Maui fund. Is that fair?
No. No.
I want to get into it. It's
sorry, it was a rhetorical question. My bad.
No, it wasn't really a rhetorical question, because I kind of understand the criticism. It's one of those things where, one, they have direct connections to Maui, right? Two, they're extremely rich. it does become a bit confusing when you ask the average person, right? That doesn't make millions, if not billions of dollars over their lifetime to donate to a fund that you could fund in like one movie or 1 year's salary. Or I don't know. I mean, they have people working their money. I don't know if it's a tax thing, if they do it. I don't know. But it does. I kind of understand the criticism. So we'll get into that. I do want to update on the SAG-AFTRA strike. I'm trying to keep attention on that because, well, one, I'm part of the union. And two, we're going to start hitting a point where it's going to be crap out there to watch. Right now, we're watching things that have already been done or a lot of reality TV. It's going to start being crap really, really quickly. I was kind of talking to Kim before we hopped on the show. So yesterday, my daughter did something for the first time in high school, and it was an eye-opening experience for me as I was witnessing it. And I realized something about myself. And I think that I don't know how many parents, and maybe I was okay doing what I did, but maybe I wasn't. And I always say I've never been the parent of a high schooler before, so I don't know if I did. So you guys can weigh in on that. My daughter also is joining clubs today. Kim's daughter also had joined clubs. How involved do you think parents should be in their kids' extracurricular activities? And I'm not just talking clubs, like sports. Do you think that parents should pressure their kids, let's say, to just do one sport, focus on it, especially in high school, because you're talking scholarships possibly for college and things like that. And so we have a bunch of other stuff coming up on the show if we have time to get to. But first, please click the thumbs up button. What happened to my banner, my thumbs up banner? I lost my banner, Kim McAllister.
Oh, no.
There it is. Click the thumbs up button to show your support of the show. It's free. It's easy. And it helps our show get in front of new eyeballs. And so we can grow our Medorable community. Now, if you want to be an official Medorable, there's something simple to do. And it only costs you one time a month. It's to become a monthly Patreon subscriber. So just go to thenikkimedoroshow.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com. Our Patreon link is there. You could sign up for any amount that you can afford, and it's a one-time each month payment. So whatever you can afford once a month. It's like a subscription, but you get to decide how much you pay. And if you can bump it up because you love the show and you want us to keep doing it, please do. The super chat is also live. You can donate to by looking for the $ under the chat box, and you can give us a super chat, super comment, thanks, sticker, all those sorts of things. And we really do appreciate the donations that way. If you like PayPal, there's my email, thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. And then there's the merch shop, which Kim, look what I got.
Ooh.
Dun, dun,
Oh, your Trump mug. Okay.
dun, dun. I think I'm just gonna wash it. I'm gonna.
It's pretty big.
Oh yeah,
It's
I got a big one.
mug. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because he has a big mug, so
Yeah.
it's the mug shot.
Oh
So,
my
and then
God.
on the other side, if you want to know, it says indictments up the ass. So it came in the mail yesterday. I don't know why it took so long. And my husband's like, you should just put that in your dad's house. Just leave it there. I'm like, he'd probably love it. You know what I mean? Like those Trump supporters, I swear to God. But anyway, let me take a sip out of my mugshot mug.
I have a story for
There
you
you
about
go.
California Trump supporters, by the
Oh,
way.
please lay it on me since I'm drinking out of my cup. Let's go.
You want to do some headlines?
Oh, well, let's do headlines first. Okay,
Okay.
we'll do headlines first. Again, thenikkimedoroshow.com. All the links to the merch, to the Patreon, everything is right there. So let's do some headlines. And then when we come back, Kim will share the Trump California story. And then we will get into San Francisco's idea, their PR blitz. And do you think it will work? All right, here's some headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Well, good morning to you. Former President Donald Trump is on track to sweep all of the delegates at next year's Republican convention in California. Really, Republicans in California? That's the best you can do. The latest polls suggest Trump continues to hold a dominant lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the pack of other candidates. More than a dozen other states poll their Republican delegates on the same day, meaning Trump will likely sew up enough votes to ultimately win his third nomination for president. I am shaking my head in disbelief, people.
I
For
just
Democrats,
don't get it.
I don't
get it.
either. Like, what?
You
For
can't find anybody
Democrats-
else? Jesus.
that like hasn't been indicted 4 times.
Thank you.
For Democrats in California, polls show President Joe Biden is a lock for the second term nomination. In a general election matchup, California solidly a blue state, of course, with 47% of voters identifying as Democrats and less than 24% as Republican. In order for Trump to win California, he'd need everyone in his party, all independent voters, and some votes from California's registered third parties as well. Let's
Wow.
just fingers crossed and God willing and the creek don't rise. Hope that doesn't happen.
Jeez.
Former President Trump asking a New York judge now to delay his trial in the state's lawsuit against him. The trial for the civil fraud lawsuit against Trump and his family business is currently scheduled for October 2nd. Trump's team argued in a filing it should be delayed until 3 weeks after the judge rules on requests from both sides for summary judgments, which deal with various legal issues without a need for trial. The filing says a trial of this magnitude should not begin in chaos. Or should it? I don't know. A manhunt is intensifying in Pennsylvania after an escaped murderer was spotted at a popular botanic garden.
Oh.
I know this guy's everywhere. 2 nearby school districts canceled classes today, nearly a week after Danilo Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Prison about 25 miles west of Philadelphia. Authorities have been urging people to be wary, keep their doors and cars locked. The search had focused on an area within a 2-mile perimeter around a residential neighborhood near the prison. It expanded this week, though, after it appeared Cavalcante may have traveled farther. There was 4 sightings in the forest, like a wooded area as well. This guy, he's a convicted murderer, convicted of killing his girlfriend in front of her kids brutally.
Jesus.
Yeah.
My God. And so
he, a week, I think, days after the conviction, somehow managed to
Get out.
escape, and now he's on the lam.
Jesus. I mean, that has to be frightening, though, if you think about it. Like, remember, back to the Son of Sam and all those different serial killer type people. I mean, how scared would you be? I wouldn't want to be walking out. I wouldn't want to send my kids to school. No, thank you.
No, you don't know what this guy's going to do.
Exactly.
A lot of us have those COVID tests just sitting around waiting.
Me.
There's a stack of them. Well, don't throw them away because the FDA is extending the expiration dates of many of these at-home COVID test products now.
I was never going to throw it away anyway. I was
No?
always going to use it. I always feel like expiration dates are just a suggestion anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, we've got a new surge in COVID cases now. And so the FDA website has a list of extensions of these tests to see if the brand has an extended date. You can go to the FDA website, compare the one you have and check. Public health officials say all viable at-home tests can recognize new strains of COVID. So there's that.
I mean, okay, so how much this is my negative Nancy tinfoil hat kind of. I mean, sometimes I feel like they just tell us that, right? I mean, to kind of give us the sense of, okay, yeah, it's fine. Okay,
You
it's
think
fine.
they're lying to you? No.
I don't know about lying. I won't say that they're going as far as lying, but it's as far as, of course, I think people are like, why would you put an expiration date on something if it didn't expire at that date? Right.
Right.
And so it's just, it's the whole machine of society, I think, right? We're supposed to follow these rules, but then we realized that the rules didn't really exist that much anyway. So it didn't actually matter. So that's just how I go about it. I'm like, oh, we'll give it a shot. If it's negative, I'll feel better. And if I don't get better, I'll probably just go to the hospital and get a real COVID test, like through them or something. Right. So I don't know.
Dozens of attorneys general from across the country are calling on Congress to study artificial intelligence and its impact on children. The bipartisan coalition sent a letter to Congress yesterday asking lawyers to create an expert commission to study the problem. They want to know how AI is used to exploit and endanger children through the generation of child porn and deep fakes, which use real kids' voices and photographs. This effort is being led by attorneys general in South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, and Oregon as well.
I'm glad that you clarified with the deep fakes and that sort in child pornography, because AI in general is a huge category, right? I mean, the bots that you talk with when you go to a website, the chat bot, right? That's AI, right? That's artificial intelligence where it's trying to convince you that it's not. So in that sense, I feel like AI has been around long enough. But yeah, if you're fooling people, the deep fakes and having videos, I mean, there could be a time, Kim, where the deepfakes are so good that we could just not even work. We'll just pretend that we're sitting here every morning and AI generated, and they'll have the voice and they'll figure out what our opinions are based on our past opinions. I mean, that's where it can go.
We'll just sit back and watch ourselves go.
Like, is that what I really would think? Like,
I would never have said that.
obviously that's not what we want, but that's
Yeah.
where it can go to, where you can't even trust unless you're seeing it live kind of thing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, did that really happen? There's a technology where you can make it look like somebody is really saying it. There is a social media, I think it's like called The Real Keanu Reeves or something like that. And I don't know if it's a guy that looks, again, I don't know. I don't know if it's a guy that looks just like Keanu Reeves or if it's an AI deep fake thing. I know that it's not actually Keanu Reeves, obviously, but it looks really real. And so this is where it's going. And this is in its infancy. If you think about technology as a whole and the lifespan of it, it's scary. It really is. We need to get and now we have people that are glitching on live television like McConnell and they're supposed to be deciding regulations and oversight for things they probably have no comprehension of. That's another reason why we need younger people in Congress. It's not ageist. It's, do you understand it? Go ahead. Explain it to me, McConnell. Explain to me how it works and explain it to me enough that you know how it needs to be regulated. Please, I'm waiting.
They don't even understand how the internet works, and they can be sitting on the panel that oversees it all. They're
Exactly.
like,
It's
what? Facebook, what?
It's just crazy.
An iconic LGBTQ plus bar in San Francisco will be reopening its doors. The owners of The Stud were joined by city leaders this week announcing the landmark drag club and dance venue will reopen this winter in a new location, this time on Folsom Street. The Stud had been forced to close after more than 50 years in business in 2020 because of the pandemic. It remains shuttered until now. The owners say the new location has double the space of the old venue, and it's expected to attract an even larger crowd when it reopens for good.
Cool.
So something coming back, right?
There you go.
Lastly, an AI-generated song is being submitted for the Grammys.
No.
This song by Ghostwriter called Heart on My Sleeve mimics Drake and The Weeknd's voices. It went viral in April. According to the Recording Academy CEO, the song is eligible for the award because it was written by a human. Because it samples stuff from humans, right?
But without their permission, I thought.
I don't know if they said it was okay or not.
I'm Googling while you're talking. Okay, go ahead.
It's called Heart on My Sleeve. It's by Ghostwriter. A representative for Ghostwriter told the New York Times the song was submitted for Best Rap Song and Song of the Year, awards that are given to writers, not performers.
Yeah,
Maybe
no, I don't like that at all.
Somebody wrote it, but AI performed it. I haven't heard the song.
Well,
I don't know.
According to Variety, neither Drake nor The Weeknd had anything to do with this song. So the Ghostwriter is that AI generated song, like you said. It's a fake duet. It was written by a human. I'm trying to find who the human is. Oh, they're saying in this case, the lyrics were written by Ghostwriter despite the computer generated vocal performances. No.
So Ghostwriter is a human? And Ghostwriter
Yeah,
fed
I
the
guess
lyrics
so.
in and said, make Drake and make The
Oh, I
Weeknd
see
sing
what
it.
you're saying. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's what it is. Ghostwriter sounds like it is the AI, but no. So obviously, I mean, because AI doesn't exist without humans, right?
Ghostwriter's the
Programming.
writer.
Right.
Yeah. And the performers were AI generated versions of The Weeknd and Drake.
Yeah. So apparently, Ghostwriter was quoted as saying, or described as very forward thinking and creative. Yeah, no, I don't like it. And if it wins, that's total BS. I'm sorry. It's total BS. No.
Eric
No,
says
no.
human written with AI voices is still human written. There's still human creativity there.
But they didn't have any say in it. They didn't The Weeknd or nor Drake were part of it. So it's like, it's as if I'm plagiarizing, basically, right? I would call that plagiarism. You're taking my song, my skill. You didn't sing. You didn't do anything. You just took my words. You might have twisted them up and put them together in a different way, but it's still my song. No.
There was
I think
human
that's BS.
fingers in that pie. I don't know.
I think that's BS. If it gets the Grammy, people will be pissed.
Yeah.
You're telling no, because then I swear to God, it's like, people say, oh, we can't get any new movies. They're just rebooting all the old stuff. Is that that's going to just happen with music then? Oh, we'll just do another collab of either dead people or people that didn't want anything to do with it. Come on, just come up with something new. The brain is expansive. Like, come up with something.
Well, if it does win, they should call The Weeknd and Drake up on the stage.
That'd be interesting. I wonder if they'd go. I mean, do they get any money from this?
I don't know the answer.
I mean, if they were not part of the collab at all, or does it all go to ghostwriter? And I love the name ghostwriter, right? Because a ghostwriter is somebody that writes a book for like a Rudy Giuliani or something, or a Donald Trump.
Right.
And their name's not on the book, but they did most of the writing. That's just lame. That is lame. That's not art. Art is creating something from nothing. Art is thinking of something, playing a tune and lyrics coming to you. This is just ridiculous. And if the Grammy legitimizes this, I think they've lost all their legitimacy.
Wow, that's big
I
words
know.
right there.
I know.
You're mad.
Dang.
Look at you.
Well, I like watching the Grammys. I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would kind of suck if it's just all AI. Just BS. Dumb.
I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth because the song wouldn't exist if this human being who calls him or herself ghostwriter wouldn't have fed it into the system, created the lyrics for it. As long as the artists who are being sampled are getting rewarded and paid.
I don't know if they are.
I don't know.
I don't know. All right.
All right. I'm Kim McAllister.
Oh,
this is the Nikki Medoro Show.
It is indeed. All right. So let's talk a little bit about PR. Okay. It's usually if somebody quits journalism, Kim, if you quit journalism, you go into PR. If you stop, you start being a spokehole for some organization. Has there ever been an organization, Kim, that you were like, I don't care how hard up I am for a job, I'm never going to be the spokesperson for X, Y, and Z company?
I've never thought about that before.
I have.
There are some.
Here in the Bay Area, I don't think I could ever be a spokesperson for PG&E.
Okay, that's funny that you mention it because I got very high up in the interview process for PG&E.
Did you?
They called me back twice, and I went into their office in San Francisco. I didn't end up getting the PR job, which it turns out is a good thing because I don't know if I really want to be a PR person. But no, a spokesperson.
Was this before or after the wildfires?
This was
or during.
I don't know. It was right after the KGO shut down the whole newsroom. After the first layoff.
Oh, okay. So kind of in the midst of it all.
But it was after San Bruno. It was definitely after San Bruno.
Yeah, I see. I don't think I could spin, especially coming from journalism. Now, if I didn't have the journalism background and I wasn't following the news so quickly or closely, right? Maybe I can put some things away. But knowing what we know and the conversations we've had from people that have been hurt by this company, I don't think I could ever, with a straight face, sit in front of a camera and say some of the things that I'd have to say. I just don't think I could do it.
What about Chevron?
Ooh, another good one.
Because I've seen Chevron PR jobs too, and I'm like,
I don't know if I could do a fossil fuel company. Again, it's you're the face when something goes wrong. Believe me, no one's paying attention that closely when things are good, right? Everyone pays attention to the negative headlines, especially when you blow up an entire town. So I don't think I could ever do PG&E. I don't know if I could do Chevron or something like that, because again, they're kind of like poisoning the air. The refinery shutdowns, I'd have to be like, oh yeah, it's scheduled maintenance. No, it's all BS. I don't think
what about Good Vibrations or a sex shop, a sex toy shop?
Oh yeah, done. I would totally do that. Yeah.
But then people would ask you what you do, and you'd be like, I'm the spokesperson for the Dildo 5000. I mean,
done. I would much rather do that. I'm not going to seek it out, Kim. But what I'm saying is I would much rather do that because at least I know I'm bringing people pleasure. Right? A sex toy company? Who am I harming? Yes, let's go have fun. But no, not something that's ruining the environment, spewing, toxins into the air, raising gas prices, or blowing up towns. I have a line, my friend. There's a firm line. Sex toy company, I could do that. But like I was saying, negative headlines, they just grip people. You won't forget it, right? I mean, PG&E could do all sorts of great things, but you're just going to remember how they're screwing us with the rates, they're screwing us with fixing their lines and all sorts of things like that, which is totally justified. What I do not think is justified entirely. Now, of course, San Francisco has issues. Believe me, we were talking yesterday about the pop-up, safe injection sites that I was kind of like, oh my God. Although you guys made excellent points on why they're needed. Obviously, we have crime problems. If you're breaking into cars right in front of the Police Officers Association building, there's a mentality there, right? There are problems. You don't want to step over drug users and homeless people all day long, and that happens in a lot of places in San Francisco. But when I was driving to San Francisco on Monday, I was looking around, and yeah, I'm going down the Embarcadero, right? I'm passing, going down King. I'm on the Embarcadero, passing the Bay Bridge, and I'm looking around, and it's freaking gorgeous. There's no homeless people. There's a bike ride going on, a bike race going on, so I had to kind of take a different way into the parking lot. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, it's amazing. Of all the negative headlines of San Francisco, which, yes, you go to the Tenderloin, believe me, it's like, ugh. But it ignores so much other stuff, right? It does ignore any of the good headlines. Like, I know that, there's a new IKEA. I know that they're trying to figure out what to do with the old Nordstroms and all those sorts of things. They're trying to revitalize Union Square. I know. But there's homelessness, there's drug use, there's all these sorts of things. But it's not as if it's only happening here. So San Francisco has started a $6 million worldwide ad campaign from San Francisco Travel. That's the city's tourism bureau. And it wants to highlight the city's charm and lure visitors. So here's a couple of pictures. These are the billboards in Times Square in New York, okay? So there it is. This is come alive at alwayssf.com. It has a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge below. It says always spellbinding, which gorge, right? This is a little bit more of a distance, like just the Times Square, the busyness of it all. Tell me, guys, in the comments, is it about time that San Francisco does this? And is this a way you think will work? Because I have my concerns. On one hand, yeah, you should definitely tout the great things about the area, right? I mean, San Francisco is iconic. I don't give a crap what is happening in the city. It's iconic. There's so much culture. There's so much to do. There's a reason to come to San Francisco. But here's the thing. People know what San Francisco is. They know the negative headlines along with it. Should San Francisco do what I think other mayors and governors from more red states are doing? I think instead of going high, and maybe this is bad to say, instead of going high, I think San Francisco should go just as low. Okay. I think that instead of only, okay, like you can go positive, you could have your PR blitz, you could spend $6 million if you think that it's going to do something. But I'm going to read you a headline. Okay. Growing homeless camp is a powder keg. Can we unite on a solution before it blows? That is not a San Francisco headline. That is not a San Francisco headline. That's a Florida headline.
Oh. Another
one. Rising violence against police officers sparks concern with shootings up 22%.
Chicago.
That's a Texas. That's a Texas headline.
Texas. Huh.
Here's another Texas headline. Crime top issue ahead of mayoral election. Kidnappings, human trafficking crimes up over 100%. That is in Texas. Now, here's my question. We don't ever see those blanketed here in California or in other states. We don't, yes, Newsom will talk about mass shootings, which unfortunately mass shootings happen all over the country. And he could point to the conservatives. But I mean, I'm talking specific. Look at Texas. Look how they're letting their homeless population explode. Why don't we ever point out the fact that these other cities and states have the same freaking problems that we have here? Or am I wrong here? Because I feel like we've even started to be brainwashed as if it's only a liberal thing, or only a Bay Area, only a California thing. I think there's many of us that live here that are like, oh my God, we got to get it together. As if we can go to another place and yeah, we might go on vacation. So for instance, I went to Nashville last year. It was gorgeous. We were taking kind of a boat down the river or whatever. It was like, drinking for my sister-in-law's 50th birthday. And I look over and what do I see on the riverbank? A homeless encampment. But you would think that Nashville, Tennessee has none because we don't hear about Nashville, Tennessee's homeless problem. Oh, it's so clean. It's so beautiful. Yeah, in many parts it is But you know what? When I was driving down many parts of San Francisco, you know what it was? Clean.
Beautiful.
But we don't talk about that anymore. It's
Well, I
only the
don't think
negative.
other states have the problems to the extent that California does.
Are you
For a
sure?
variety of reasons, because we offer programs for our people, because of the weather, because of pick a reason. But yeah, I
But are
am,
you
because
sure?
in Texas, I've read stories that they do have a homeless problem, but they also, when they throw money at it, because they focus on long-term housing for people, they manage to get people off the streets. We throw money at it, and we have more homeless people than ever. So whatever Texas is doing is making a difference. So trust me, I'm the last person who wants to get behind Texas. I'm just saying California is making some mistakes when it comes to do with how we respond to these crises, how we are trying to fix our homeless crisis. It's not
Right.
working. And so I think we do have more of them. Crime is everywhere. I did a story yesterday that over the holiday weekend in Chicago, 44 people were shot.
Yeah. Well, Chicago has issues,
I
and they
mean,
have for
so
a long time.
we're not the only city that has, some issues with. I would argue that we don't have that level of issues with violence, right? There's always
Right.
some of it somewhere. But yeah, Sandy says, I was in Texas last Thanksgiving. I saw a lot of homeless encampments in Dallas and San Antonio. Interesting. You never hear about that. Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying, Kim, right? That the reaction, I just saw a video, for instance, I forget what town it was, but it was in Arizona. And some people had tried to rob this store. And so the video, it was like somebody on their cell phone of cops like tackling the person. Now, this video was, I don't know, a minute, maybe long. And from that video, I was being told, see, this is how we handle shoplifters.
Mm.
Well, this is how you handle those shoplifters. I'm sure that, in other areas, they let them go. They don't catch every single shop. I can't imagine every city and state can handle every shoplifter. I will say though, that this whole mentality, at least, in the stores that we've heard about of letting these people go, I think people are fed up with, and they're done. How many stories have you seen, Kim, where the shop owners are like fighting back, right? They're like, we're done. We don't care about it. We're going to, there was that one guy that got beat with a bat, and you want to send a message to these criminals that we're not taking it anymore. I don't know. I'm not saying that my idea is the answer, but it does seem there's a concerted effort to constantly point out the negative of San Francisco, of the Bay Area, of California as a whole, and never focus on the fact that one, we are a gigantic state with a hell of a lot of people, with a thriving economy that competes internationally, right? And if we're going to talk about systemic problems, why aren't we looking at the poverty rate in some of these red states? Why don't we look at where they rank with education? They always love to point out where we rank. Where the hell do you rank? What about teen pregnancies? What about maternal death? What about those sorts of things? Teen suicide, drug use. Are you telling me that we're the only state that has that problem? Of course we're not. But we're the only ones that are used as this example of liberal policies gone wrong. Now, do I think that all of our policies are correct? Of course not. Do I wish that there was more of a checks and balance on the Democrats that lead the state? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm saying that again for all my conservative listeners. Absolutely. Do I think that California should be a supermajority state? No. The problem isn't the Democrats, though. The problem is people in California have certain values, and Republicans are so far right that we're afraid to freaking elect any of you because you're going to take our damn rights away. Get your party in gear. Get out of these freaking social, civil rights issues that you're trying to take away from us, and just go back to, debating policy that has to do with the economy and things like that. You coming after us telling me what I can and can't do medically, what I can't do with my children, the fact that I have to stay pregnant even if I'm raped. These are the reasons why so many Democrats would never even consider putting Republicans in power, because you guys we don't trust you at all to do the right thing. Let's see. Trevor says there's California and then there's everywhere else. We're always kind of the example. And I guess that's a point. Sandy says, if California is such a horrible place, why do all the tech companies want to be here? Why do people move here from all over the world if it's such a horrible place? I'm so glad that you mentioned this, Sandy. I was just reading an article about how even though other states like Texas, right, are enticing people from the tech community to move there, for some reason, the ideas aren't growing there. It was kind of an interesting article, and I should have saved it because I would get into more of the details. But the ideas, they were using the word dynamic. It wasn't as if, those incubators where people like throw ideas against the wall and we come up with great ideas, which is Silicon Valley is known for. Apparently, it's just not transferring to Texas. And I was making the joke when I was reading the article. I'm like, it's too damn hot to think clearly. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for being surrounded by what is California's beauty, to take that part out of the way. When you're in Texas and you're sweating your balls off and you have to stay in, your mind might not be open. And I'm just, spitballing here, but I'm just saying.
I was also reading that it's a talent pool thing. You have some people that have moved to places like Austin, but you don't have the level of talent centered in one place that you still have here in the Bay Area.
Yeah. Look, you might think that you could just pick up and move to a new state and a new city, and it's going to be, and then I'll have my own house and I'm going to be happy. And then what do I always say? I say, and then you open your front door of your brand new house and you're in Texas. Like, there's a difference. There is a difference of living somewhere else and everything that entails. It has to be exhausting. And I'm going to go back to the weather because that's what one of the main reasons why people stay in California, it's the weather. That is why my family moved from back east when my brother was 1 year old. They left New York, where all of their family and friends were. They were done with East Coast weather. They were done with it. They're like, we're done. We're moving to California. And they never looked back. There's just something to be said about being in a pleasant atmosphere. And it's only getting worse in some of these states. Arizona is going to become uninhabitable. I mean, you're not going to be able to be outside. I'm going to check right now because my brother and my sister-in-law live in Arizona. And so I often check the weather there to be like, okay, let's see. Oh, did I delete it? I deleted it off my thing. But it's so freaking hot. I think this week they're back into like 111 territory. You're not outside. You're not collaborating. You're not meeting for coffee, right? You're sweating your ass off in your house in air conditioning, not leaving. Maybe you'll go to the office, okay? But it's a different environment. Dave has an assumption. Conservatism, I'm assuming, or conservationism is anti-creative. I don't know if you mean conservatives or conserving, but I thought you meant conservatives, but maybe you don't. Chris wants to secede and join Mexico. Okay. I mean, I like it here. California has many problems, but nowhere else I want to go. Perry Joe Jim Bob says, yeah, exactly. I know, Kim. It's a dry heat in Arizona. That's what they try to tell you. Now, I will tell you, if you go from a dry heat to a humid, there is a huge difference. Ugh. The fact that you can take a shower and then you step outside and you're sweating again is gross. I don't want either. I love Bay Area weather. I love it. And I'm sorry, it might seem spoiled, but I'm willing to pay the sunshine tax for it. I do it every day. Yeah, Dave did mean conservatism. Calvin, checking the weather to see if they're still alive. Yeah, exactly. I want California to start hitting back. I think that's really my point is, yeah, we have problems. We do. We have housing problems. We have a homeless problem. We have drug problems. We're not the only state or area that has it. I do think that the pendulum has swung way too far. And I will even throw myself into this, even personally in some of my views. I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Living in this kind of Pollyanna-ish ideal where people are just going to do the right thing. Oh, on that note. So I went to the grocery store yesterday and it happened again. It happened again.
What did you do? What happened?
I didn't do anything. I'm with my son and we're going grocery shopping and we're leaving and I'm walking out. And as I'm walking out, I'm heading to the doors that are opening. And normally they have like these big bins with like candy, all this kind of stuff where you can kind of grab. It's right by the produce. And this guy, he has his cart and he's kind of spinning his daughter kind of in a circle. And he looks at me and he smiles and I smile. And I knew it. And I didn't say anything. Be proud of me. But I knew it. I fucking knew it. And I'm just walking. I'm walking to my car, and I always park in front of the grocery store, and like right in front of the door.
Mhm.
And we're loading the stuff into my trunk. And I see the guy walk out with his kid in the cart and his girl. Not one thing in his cart was bagged. And it was full. Nothing. And he walked out with it. And I knew it. I knew, like, nobody's spinning their freaking cart by the front door of the freaking grocery store if they're not planning on scooting right out when nobody's looking at them.
Mhm.
And it pissed me off. And so I'm like, see, I knew it. And I just said it out loud to myself. And my son was like, what? And I go, he didn't pay for any of that. And he like looks and I was like, do you see one thing bagged? Now he was like walking to his car. So he wasn't hearing me. And I was so aggravated. Because now I'm going to make tons of assumptions right now. He didn't look hungry. Okay. He didn't look emaciated. The thing that also pissed me off is his daughter looked to be maybe 3 or 4 years old, was in the cart and laying across the food as if hiding it, or like, don't notice that nothing in this cart is bagged.
Yeah.
So you're now including your child in this mentality of this is okay. And that's what gets me upset is this is how it happens. You start teaching your kids that, oh, it's okay. Nobody's watching. Let's just leave the store. And, I am using the same opportunity to teach my son. That's what you sold your soul for. A cart of groceries. When somebody asks you what kind of person you are, you tell yourself, well, my moral code has a limit of about $400 or whatever the cart was worth of food. That's it. You can buy me off. You can buy my morals, my integrity. I know, right? You're absolutely right. That's what it's worth. Less than $1,000. I have no integrity anymore. I'm not honest anymore. That's what this person is saying.
What if they were really poor and he had no way to feed his little girl? It's still not okay. I'm not saying it's okay if you're poor to walk in and steal stuff.
He didn't look poor.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that I'm making these are all assumptions I'm making, but he was playing with his kid. He looked happy. It looked to me, and of course this is just me looking, it looked to me like he just didn't want to pay for his freaking groceries. Nobody was watching. There's no security. So he walked out the front freaking door. And it makes me upset because they should freaking pay for their food. And I'm a big old liberal. If you need help, I will pay extra in taxes, and I do, to pay for these safety net programs. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
You have a kid? I mean, they might be a little young for school, but you know what? There are food banks, food drives that you can get food for. It drives me nuts. Nikki, yep. Parents teach kids to jaywalk, to drive 10 miles too fast, to curse people who cut you off, and more. I will say you're absolutely right, Jim. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect either. I'm not saying that I've never done any of these things wrong, but I did use it as a learning experience to teach him. I think I have a real problem with stealing. Like that's really, it really does bother me. I do believe that
and Mary's right.
If there's something that comes back, in my opinion, it's stealing from others. And maybe that's the old Catholic in me. Like it's literally a commandment, right? Like you just don't steal from people.
Yeah.
You don't, because it will. And I told you about my son and his phone. My kid is a good kid. And I'm like, I hope it comes back to you because you put out good, you'll get good back. And he has. And if there's ever a good example of something like that, that's what I really, really believe in. So when I see somebody that's stealing for, in my opinion, no gosh darn reason, it pisses me off. Yeah, Randy, there are plenty of safety net programs available. That's the thing. We're in California. Like, please, a little bit of effort, a couple phone calls. You probably could have a full kitchen of food. So stop it already. I don't know, man. I was telling him the story, my son, when we were driving back, because I grew up in this area. And I told him, I was like, when I was probably, 5th grade, young, I was riding my bike back and forth to school. And I remember I was in front of a gas station and there was a black wallet. See it clear as day right now on the ground. I remember being so excited to try to find the guy to give him his wallet back. I was so excited about it. I remember, I remember what was in it. He had some money and he had tons of pictures of a dog. I'm like, this guy loves his dog, because that was all that was in it. We used to carry pictures in our wallets. And And I mean, I found him. Like my dad was like, okay, you can kind of phone books, right? Calling.
Yeah.
And the guy came to my house and he actually gave me the money. It wasn't a ton of money. I think it was like maybe $10.
Yeah.
Out of all, he's like, thank you so much. I don't have to cancel anything. I have my driver's license back. He's like,
Yeah.
I didn't even need any of it. I was so excited to
That's
make
sweet.
this guy's day. And that's what I was trying to tell my son. I'm like, when you do well for people, it's just like giving people gifts on their birthday or Christmas. Like you want to see them happy. And that should be a payoff for people. So I guess the opposite is true when I see people steal. I'm like, you suck. You just freaking suck. So, yeah, and I know. And again, I made an assumption about the guy. Dave's like, maybe he was poor. Being poor has a way of wearing people down over time. It's easy to judge if you've never been there. I get it. He didn't look outwardly poor. So I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I go back to what Mary said, which is there's just really, I'll go back to her thing. Never any excuse for that type of behavior, that there's enough options for people now if you're poor.
Yeah.
To go and, there's food pantries, like free groceries, basically, for people. There's places to eat. There's programs. So
yeah,
Mary's right. The listeners are right. That there's a lot of options for people that don't include walking into a grocery store, piling your cart full of crap and walking out.
Yeah. And again, it's the mentality. I really keep going back to the fact that, well, they saw it on the news. They saw the negative headlines. They've got it in their head. Look, and then it's proven to them because they aren't stopped. And James and my son was saying, are you going to say anything? Should we call the cops? And I was like, should I have called the cops, Kim? I don't think so. I didn't. I'm not going to get him. I'm not. And then am I part of the problem? But you guys all shame me for
you were
shaming
just going
that
to
one
say,
guy.
I'm not going to get involved, right?
Right. But what am I supposed to do? Remember, you guys told me I shouldn't shame people. I was ashamed that one guy yelled, you should be ashamed of yourself. And all of you said that I was going to get shot. So I didn't say anything this time. So, I don't know. Am I part of the problem? I sure wasn't part of the solution.
Don't you think, here's the thing. I mean, you may be outraged and call police, but don't you think that there are cameras all over the store? There's somebody behind the, up above watching everything. The guy was making a spectacle with a spinning, twirling display at the exit. Don't you think they knew? I think the people at where were you, Safeway? I think they knew.
Yeah, I was at Lucky's. I will say it was in the middle of the day, so it wasn't packed. You know what I mean? Like it was. I don't know. Maybe
they probably
3
knew, and they're just used to. Yeah, I mean, they probably were glad it wasn't like a mob of people stealing all of one thing. Like, let's go in and let's steal all the vodka, or let's go in and let's steal all the thing X. All the deodorant.
I don't even think they had. Kim's like, I might have quietly told someone in the store, keep a lookout at that guy. But again, like there was one checkout counter open and he was bagging my groceries. So there wasn't even a bagger. I don't even think there was a security guard. So who's going to do it? Who's going to risk their life over something that's insured? And yes, it raises the prices for the rest of us honest people. Ricky says, guards with a taser at the exit. Is it? This is my question. Is it illegal for me to own one of those tasers that shoot out the little the wires? Is it illegal for me to have? The ones that the cops use. Is it illegal for me to have one of those?
I don't know the answer. I think you can have a certain kind of taser if you.
But I can't have the one that I can like shoot the prongs where the person like goes down.
You have to be certified to use it. I don't know.
Can I get certified to use it? Because that's what I think everybody should hold. When those people like mob the Rite Aid and a ton of kids come in, if everybody in the store had one and they just like zapped them and all of them fell down like the fainting goats, dude, done. Like we're done. We're not killing you.
Somebody dies of a heart attack or something.
Well, then you shouldn't. See how I'm not becoming a liberal anymore? This is how they kill off liberals. I don't want anybody to die. I don't want anybody to die.
Like, what if you zap someone and they croak over stealing a bottle of whatever gin?
I mean, there's always there's always a risk of having a heart attack at any point in time.
Then
I
you
mean,
should have thought of that before you stole.
Exactly. It's God striking you down instantly.
Calvin says maybe the regular taser, but not the shooting prongs one.
Well, because I want the shooting prong ones because I don't want to get close, right? Like I want to stand back. I'd give a warning, like, hey,
what are you? Self-appointed law enforcement? Are you the equalizer now?
Exactly. Check my clock. Like you have 5
Radio
seconds to put
talk
away
show
those
host by day, by
those stolen goods. I'm
by
gonna zap your
afternoon.
ass. Exactly. I don't
It's the
know.
Medoro equalizer. Stand back, ladies. She's got a taser.
And I know how to use it, or I don't. I might hit you in the eyeball. Jim says it's not illegal to have a taser, but you have to be certified, and you'll be jailed for assault if it's used without a defensive reason. I'm protecting goods and services. I don't know.
Let me tell you a story about a taser.
Okay.
We used to have a boss at KGO. She was a salesperson, like a director of sales, and then she was a boss for like a general manager for a
I know
very
who you're
short
talking
time.
about. Mhm.
And then she moved on to a different station. But she lives in San Francisco. She's kind of a cool lady. And she was recently walking down the streets of San Francisco when some guy grabbed her. And she has a taser. I don't know what
Oh.
kind of taser, but she has a taser. And she yelled that she has a taser. I have to log into Facebook and read her post. Anyway, the guy was trying to take her down.
That's always my fear. God, because I'm so tiny. I'm like, they could take me down with a push.
And she was not having it.
Good
And
for her.
so, yeah, absolutely. And so she fought back against this guy and won. Basically did not allow him to take her down to the sidewalk. And I think he was a naked
Wow.
guy. And he
Ooh,
was trying to
ew.
take
He
her
was
down.
naked when he was
Yeah.
trying to take her down? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
No.
If you're naked and try to take me down, you have lost your scrotum. That is it. This is your warning to anybody that try. If you're naked, you are vulnerable. I don't even care. No. Straight to the scrot. That's it.
Straight to the scrot.
Well, where else am I gonna freaking grab? Huh? No, you
Oh
go.
my God.
That is so gross.
Yeah, it's crazy. But if she hadn't had that with her, then she might have been taken down and maybe injured by this person.
Yeah.
So kind of scary. She said there was a couple from Iowa that rushed to her aid and tried to make sure she was okay. And, she's like, she tried to tell them it's not really always like this in California. Like, this isn't,
Right. This isn't the headline that I want
this,
you to
this is,
Right, exactly.
yeah. So I don't
Um,
know.
Yeah. I mean, my job in San Francisco, KCBS is moving buildings, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this,
Yeah.
but they're moving. And so I will likely have to be walking a bit of a distance when I fill in, when I work up there. And so it's a little disconcerting because before, going from a covered parking, even though at KGO, we had a parking lot. When I worked mornings, I just paid for the meter in front. There's no meters where the new building's going to be for KCBS. But I'm a little concerned. I remember our pal Heather, she got me when we moved to that location. She got me some pepper spray.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, it's so aggravating though. It's it's as if like I shouldn't have to worry about it, but because of the headlines again, I am. And I mean, who wants to walk down any city? I don't care where you are, Texas, Florida, or California. I don't want to freaking walk at 4:00 in the morning by myself. I love all the Oh, Calvin, I did hear about this story. Yeah, he's talking about some kids here in my hometown of San Jose. They're taking these cars and like ramming them into stores to steal everything. I'm just saying these are kids that were taught that that's a-okay.
Stolen cars, stolen
Kias.
Hyundais,
They were doing
stolen
and the
Kias.
Kias. Remember, because the Kias, they have a thing where you can break into them, and they're using them to steal a bunch of stuff. It's organizing. It's similar to sideshows. I think social media has a huge impact on this. They read about it, they see about it, they see videos. Oh, and everyone's sharing it around, and they think that it's cool. They're gonna get them. Bear spray. Okay. Yeah, I just don't know, man. It's scary. It really is scary to walk by yourself. I'm gonna get something, but I do like the idea of tasers. And I wasn't really thinking about walking by myself. I was saying the tasers for the mobs that go in and steal stuff from the store. There has to be a way of stopping these people en masse, right? Like we have to stop them, box them in, do something that doesn't endanger the innocent people that are also there, but that gets them, because you let too many of them out, they've succeeded. And that's what sucks. Dave said, so the odd thing about bear spray, it's illegal to have because of the size of the can, but we have bears, so it's weird. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Chris says it does nothing if you're high on fentanyl. I don't think these mobs of shoplifters are high on fentanyl. I think they're high on getting all their free goods. That's what I think. But anyways, we'll see. We're going to see if the Times Square thing. Now, just to put a final note on it, do you think that New York is the place where you need to start spreading the word about San Francisco? No. I do think it's a safe place, right? I think that if they put these billboards up in Texas or Florida, them damn criminals there would vandalize it probably. But New York's probably a safe place to do it. It is Times Square, and it brings people from all over the world and all over the country to one location to see it. So it might work. It might work, but it aggravates me. It absolutely aggravates me that it's happened. And then finally, one last thing, the Mission Peak poll. We were talking about that a little bit. I want to play you a little bit of this news report. Now, again, it sucks when people vandalize things, right? Like I was just mentioning, it does suck. This is why we can't have nice things. Now, I do not hike on purpose, unless somebody did not tell me how long this walk was going to be. I do not hike. People love to try to convince me to hike. I'm not a hiker. So I've never been to the top of Mission Peak. I'm so happy for everybody that has. Like I mentioned before, it is a place that people like to take those social media pictures. They hang on the pole, they stick their arms out, they go, I made it, which is great because apparently it's a really hard hike. But it's the amount of people that do it that's causing some problems. And so I'm wondering, because again, the vandal of this pole, keep in mind, had to do that hike with the machinery needed to cut down a metal pole. Okay. Right. And then abandoned it, apparently. Like they didn't keep it as a souvenir. I was like, oh, somebody wanted to put it in their house so they could always take a picture. No, they found it. So obviously they dumped it.
And so you wonder, do people just do it just to be jerks?
Or because they're tired of people, they're tired of people going to this neighborhood and making the hike. And so that's why I want to play this. Is there anyone, let me know in the comments, is there anywhere in your neighborhood? I have one place that I instantly think of here in San Jose. Anywhere in your neighborhood where it just draws a lot of people and you're aggravated, as if it's yours, right? I mean, Mission Peak is Mission Peak, it's the public's. But because there's this pole there, it's a very popular, I'm not just saying it's just the pole. I think it has something to do with the pole, though. That brings a lot of people. So here's this report from KTVU.
Deplorable, despicable, reprehensible.
The Mission Peaker sculpture is only a fraction of what it used to be, preventing the picture-perfect memories made for more than 30 years.
I feel like it's very much a part of our lives in the community. And so to not put it back would be like, like losing an old friend.
The East Bay Regional Parks District has recovered the toppled top, but it hasn't decided if it's repairing that popular pole. Hikers suspect the hesitation may lie with a long-standing public parking problem.
On the weekends, it is completely swarming with people.
Neighbors have complained, concerned about safety. Some have previously sued over excessive cars and visitors filling the streets.
They consistently vote to restrict access to this park at this entrance.
William Uregi is with the Mission Peak Conservancy. He says for years there has been a battle to keep people from coming.
Understand there's a lot of animosity in this neighborhood towards park visitors.
Hours are now limited, parking a premium. Permits required on weekends, even for numerous neighbors. Otherwise, expect the trouble of a ticket.
It's just extra stress that we don't need.
Joyce Lee lives nearby and says since the pandemic, the pole has attracted many more people, which she says could explain why vandals cut it down.
It really hurt a lot of people, and I hope they realize that.
Still, there is worry over crime, conduct, and congestion surrounding the park.
I just want to have my cake and eat it too. Like I want people to enjoy the outdoors, but also to be mindful of the residents.
For those who seek the trail to the top, they say Mission Peak should be open to all and its iconic pole put back up.
The Park District needs to know that the public wants this cultural artifact, this monument, restored to its former prime.
All right. I mean, it is a pole. I don't know the history of the pole. Like, I'm sure it wasn't put up for people to take a picture with. Maybe it was. I don't know. Yeah, it's David says Mission Peak is a 6-mile round trip with an elevation gain of about 2,000 feet. So it is not a casual walk. No, like you saw in that news report, they tell you there's no water on this trail. Bring it, especially if you bring dogs. Yeah, Vicky, you couldn't pay me to hike to that pool. Me either. No, thank you.
There's a lot of places around the Bay Area, though, where, maybe there's an entrance to a park, but it's in a neighborhood. And so, people will get upset and I remember when they were during the pandemic, they put those signs up, the free, don't drive down this street. This is not a
Right.
through street for people, only residents, right? During the pandemic. Well, there was a street in Petaluma where some of the residents were fighting to keep that because they don't want people parking on their street to go into a park area. Like
But it's a
it's a
public park.
trailhead. It's from Helen Putnam Park in Sonoma County, and there's an entrance in this neighborhood, and they don't want people to do that. It is a public park. You can't keep people out just because you don't
Exactly.
feel like dealing with the masses, right? Yeah.
Well, here's a different one though. And anyone that lives in my neck of the woods probably knows this area. There is a housing development, huge. And it's on this hill and it's called Communication Hill. And Communication Hill has all of these stairs that go. I don't know if it goes all the way to the top. There's a lot of stairs though. And
Yeah.
so exercise people, even if you don't live in the area, park in the neighborhood and then walk the stairs. Do you know how annoyed people are that live? I mean, and this is like townhomes. It's not single family homes. That they've got dozens of people every freaking morning going up and down the stairs that they too might need to use, parking in their neighborhood that's not like a normal neighborhood because it's like high density townhomes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's not a public park. That's just, oh, there's hella stairs here. We want to go up and down them as a form of exercise. And then if you get to the top, because it's Communication Hill, you can see a lot of the South Bay. So it's pretty nice up there.
Yeah.
Also, that's also where a lot of the crime happens.
No.
Apparently, that's what people say. They're like, oh my God, if you go up there, then you have to do it. Now, people need to be mindful of that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you have to understand that this is somebody's neighborhood. JT says there are also marked walking trails at Communication Hill. Yeah. Yeah, John says you can't stop people from parking on the street, even in front of your home, unless you have a handicap spot.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and back to the vandalism at Mission Peak. Square says, you know those gas-powered grinders the fire department used? It looks like someone hauled a big machine up to that pole. Exactly. That's how aggravated this person had to be.
Mhm.
Again, you're not driving up there. Not an easy hike. Do you know the anger that someone would have to push through at that pole and at people to do something like that?
Well, imagine hauling it away too, because it was
Yeah.
found nearby, but still you had to haul it away, like drag it a ways away, and then drag your saw, whatever.
I mean, even if it was battery powered,
Yeah.
some people are saying it was battery powered. It's a hard hike with nothing, a
Yeah.
water bottle. Like you're going to bring extra. That's how angry you are at
Yeah.
everyone of that pole. Because that's all I see is anger, straight up aggravation
Mhm.
and anger. Now you can't take away the stairs at Communication Hill, but I could see people being really, and that's what happens. People get so upset and they think that something is quote unquote theirs, right? That they take it out on other people that want to take advantage of something. We've seen it with beaches. You know, people buy beachfront property and then they don't want anyone sitting in front of their beach. Like it's their sand. It's not your sand. It's
Do
not.
you ever have people park in front? I mean, maybe you live in a busier area, but I live on a street where you wouldn't really park in front of my house unless my house was your destination.
Right. Well,
Or
you
maybe,
live in the suburbs. Like you live
yeah,
in a
or maybe the
neighborhood.
house across the street if there was nowhere across the street to park, right?
Right.
And so, but sometimes people will park in front and I know they're not connected to my house and not hanging out with me. And I'm thinking, why'd you pick that spot to park in?
Yeah, that's my spot.
My mother,
Your neighbor.
she does not want people parking in front of her house. As a matter of fact, the neighbors have multiple cars and multiple kids, and she gets really annoyed because she wants to look out her windows and see her garden and nothing else.
You
She
love
will,
people.
swear to God, old people, man, she will put her garbage cans out and leave them as a point so that no one can park in front of
Oh yeah,
she'll position them so no one can park there. And I'm like, Mom, you can't do that. Don't you understand that it makes you look lazy? Like you can't pull your garbage cans in. She's like, and we take her garbage cans in and out for her many times. And she'll say, don't pull them in so quick this time. I don't want anyone to park there.
So she'd rather see garbage cans than a car.
Yes. Yes.
I've seen people put cones. So there's a lot of they were doing a bunch of road construction for quite a while, a couple blocks away. But it's down a street I turn on to get to my neighborhood, and I kept seeing all these orange cones on the curb. Now I know that it's natural to believe and to feel that the curb in front of your own house is yours. Like, why are you parking here? Obviously, I need it. It's not. My husband had parked. And there's quite of a distance between me and my neighbor. Like there's like a bush. So it's not like directly in front of her house, this area. But he parked like, so here's our driveway. He parked on this side instead of the longer part on this side, which is where we normally would park. And he did that. And I was like, why did you park in front of the neighbor's house? He's like, it's not in front of the neighbor's house. It's in front of our house. I'm like, but it's on the wrong side of our house. It's just this like idea of, no, that side's theirs. This
what
side's
was his
ours.
answer?
He didn't move. My husband's not moving his truck if it's already been parked. He doesn't give two rats butts. And it was only there for overnight, and then he left the next day and parked in the other spot. So it wasn't forever. But yeah, again, I park in the driveway. I like to park in the garage, but unfortunately, we have too much crap now, so I can't do that anymore. But yeah, people will paint. They'll paint their curb, even though that's completely illegal, acting like it's a red zone or a handicap zone, and it's not. That'll get you a huge fine. But yeah, I think there is this mentality that a lot of us have, myself included, that the curb's mine, that park's mine. If you don't live here, you shouldn't be able to enjoy it because it's just an influx of people. And again, to go back to the social media thing, when people see things like the Mission Peak poll or they see the Communication Hill stairs, they're like, that's a great idea. But because of social media, so many other people are thinking the same thing, and it attracts so many other people, and it becomes not unsustainable. I mean, obviously you could still go there, but it becomes kind of a nuisance. And so people get frustrated and then drag up some sort of grinder and cut down a 30-year-old pole. So there you go. All right. Let's do some headlines. And then when we come back, I'm going to share a story about how I had to remind myself, Kim, that I'm a parent of a high schooler now. I don't know if I did the right thing. I don't know.
I love you so much, though. I struggle. The
struggle is real. Again, I'm going to preface this by saying I've never been the parent of a high schooler. So if I make some mistakes, not really my fault. I am learning. So we will get to that right after Kim's news. Please, you guys, click the thumbs up button. Show your support of the show. Go to the NikkiMedoroShow.com. You'll find our Patreon link there. You'll find our merch there. I am, for the first time, drinking out of my Trump mug shot cup that on the other side says, indictments up the ass. I love it. And I love it because when I hold it, it's just like his face. Like I was in traffic and I'm just like looking at people drinking my coffee. I'm all, there you go. Just in case you're a Trump supporter.
That's a conversation starter. Not always the conversation you're looking for, but yeah.
It was so good. All right. We'll do some headlines and then more with me again.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Well, let's begin with the push to ban mask mandates growing again in the United States. Really, can we not be done with this by now? We're doing this again. We're going to ban mask mandates.
I see so many more masks nowadays. How about you? I see so many people.
COVID is back. I mean, I know people that have it. And when you start knowing people in your circle that have it, you think to yourself, maybe it's time to put that mask back on.
Well,
Republicans,
I mean, yeah, but part of me is like, I'm going to get the new booster. I don't know. I feel like I'm avoiding COVID as much as I'm avoiding everything out there. Does that make sense? Okay, good.
Well, it depends on where you are. I think we talked about this the other day. If you're at a place where there's a lot of people and it's indoors.
Yeah, that's true.
Republican Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio introduced new legislation that aims to prevent federal agencies from requiring masks on commercial airlines, on public transit, and in public schools. The move comes as several cities in the United States consider similar proposals.
I feel like it needs to be a personal thing. I really do. I think that, look, when COVID was at its peak, people still were fighting about masks. You think we're going to still be fighting? We're going to win this battle now? No. So I went to the grocery store yesterday I was not wearing my mask, but two older people, and they were older. They looked in their 70s. They
Sure.
were both wearing their masks. But here's interesting. I went to the pharmacy like a week ago. Some people behind the counter were wearing masks and some people weren't. So you
Well,
would think like
it's
in a medical situation,
right.
there'd be like more universal use of something like that. And there
Yeah.
still wasn't.
So maybe we're at the point right now where it's personal, but I don't think that there should be laws passed to make it, that we can't have mandates from the government. At the time, we thought wearing masks, and we still do, will prevent the transmission of an airborne
It'll
virus.
reduce the chance. Yeah, absolutely.
So what if, what if COVID comes to there's a horrible uh, variant that's killing people by the thousands, even more so than the ones we have, right? Where it's critical and it's serious, and in order to protect people, you need to have the mask. And it can't be like you get to pick whether you are going to wear it, because that's not protection for everyone, right? You not wearing a mask affects me. So it's your choice
Right.
affecting my health. No.
I guess I'm just pointing to history, Kim. And history has shown us that people just won't wear it. Remember? I mean, at the height of COVID, hop on an
Yeah.
airplane, people were wearing mesh masks in
Mhm.
protest. They put diapers over their faces. Like,
Yeah.
let's not forget, people are a-holes, right?
Yeah.
Like, they acted like people were dying from wearing a mask instead of COVID, right? Oh
Because
my
if
God,
they're
you're
not
breathing in your own oxygen. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. Because if
They made up
if they're
whatever
stupid
story.
enough not to care about their health, then they certainly don't care about mine
So
or
I'm not
anyone else in the
saying,
world.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying the government doesn't have the power to make
Yeah.
mandates. They can make as many mandates as they want. It's up to
Yeah.
people and caring about the other person and caring about yourself. Now, is it 100% no? 100% avoidable if you wear a mask? Of course not. Nothing is 100%. We never said that well, I mean, I know that there's people that said Fauci said. But look, if everybody was diligent and agreed and would do it, yes, it would work. But because people don't, it's not.
Mhm.
So that's the truth.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis reportedly plans to be in New York to commemorate the 22nd, I call it an anniversary. I'll say to mark the 22nd year
Mm,
after the 9/11 attacks.
yeah.
According to the New York Post, several families of 9/11 victims invited the Republican presidential candidate to join them at the site of the attacks to observe the quote anniversary. Some 9/11 families were among veterans and military families who gathered with DeSantis for a barbecue at the governor's mansion in Tallahassee back on Memorial Day. Reports say President Biden will mark 9/11 with a visit uh, with first responders in Alaska, is where he will be.
Yeah.
So,
I can't believe we used 22 years. I'm stupid at doing math. I just like it was yesterday.
yeah.
Like it was yesterday. It's crazy.
Canadian wildfire smoke, it's back. It's choking the air again in
Ugh.
parts of the northern US. Can't get rid of this stuff.
I
Parts
know.
of Iowa, Maine, Wyoming, South Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and elsewhere feeling the effect that comes as the sizzling heat wave is hitting in the eastern part of the US as well this week. The Georgia judge overseeing former President Trump's election interference case trial has a hearing later for today scheduled. The judge says it's to decide whether to sever some of the 19 defendants from the main case. Every
No.
defendant in Trump's Georgia case is pleading not guilty. So should they all be tried as a 19 unit
Well, that's what she
strong?
wants to do, right?
That was the
The
original
prosecutor?
plan, but I heard David Katz say on Mark Thompson's show
Mhm.
that wasn't, that's not usually, you can't force that. So,
Okay. I
yeah.
mean, you could just ask for it. You could just want it, but the judge can separate it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. The judge and a judge in Georgia also says the state can resume its ban on hormone therapy as well as most gender affirming surgeries for any new patients under the age of 18. The law took effect July 1st, but it was on hold as several groups have been challenging its legality. The judge since said keeping the injunction in place is no longer possible due to a ruling that allowed a similar ban in Alabama to take effect. So
Mm.
now the Georgia rule is in effect as well. Imagine being at Target
Okay.
and having this happen. A fire broke out in the kids section of a Target store in Southern California in Buena Park Tuesday night. Flames spread to the ceiling and some of the other merchandise. A
Oh,
few
no.
that didn't get burned, damaged by water after the store's sprinkler system activated. People had to be led from the store. Other people went running. What caused it? Somebody lit something on fire. Don't you think?
Obviously. Yeah, I
Somebody,
mean,
yeah.
fires just don't nothing's combustible like in and of itself in the kids
No.
section. I mean, somebody lit something on fire. Morons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame a moron. Okay, I don't know the truth, but I'm
Blame
putting my
them.
money on a moron.
Caused by moron. The Rolling Stones are coming out with their first new album in 18 years. There were all
Oh
kinds
my
of hints that they
God.
were going to do this. And now Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Ronnie Wood will introduce their album titled Hackney Diamonds in a YouTube interview with Jimmy Fallon that will be live streamed today from London. It includes music that the band recorded with the late Stones drummer Charlie Watts, who died in 2021.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that they were done touring, or making out, but they just keep kicking. That goes to show sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, that's the key to a long life, apparently.
I guess so. But a lot of people are excited about this, and they put up this fake website and a fake
Oh,
phone number to this plumber, Hackney Plumbers, called Hackney Diamonds.
oh,
And
that's
so
funny.
people realized it was full of Rolling Stones song lyrics and song titles. So people kind of figured, oh, it's the Rolling Stones messing with us. They're putting out this album.
Right.
And come to find out, yes, indeed, they are.
That's fun.
Lastly, Princess Diana's black sheep sweater is going on display at Sotheby's tomorrow in New York City. The sweater was first worn by Princess Diana at a polo match in 1981, just a month before her marriage to Prince Charles. When the sweater suffered a rip, she sent it back to the designer. Warm and Wonderful is a designer who then sent her a new one. Meantime, the people at Warm and Wonderful found the original sweater decades later. Online bidding will be open through September 13th for this ripped black sweater, which is expected to go for more than $80,000. Really?
I think it's BS. Like, did she? I mean, I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they sent her a new one. And oh, look what we found. You've had that. You've had that. Like, you knew that you were going to keep it, put it in a box somewhere, and then come out and make $80,000.
Waiting for the time to capitalize.
There you
right?
go. There you go.
This report is crowdfunded, which means we do rely on you. You can find more, including the Patreon and the PayPal link at thenikkimedoroshow.com. Thenikkimedoroshow.com. And we thank you very much. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Medoro Show.
Yeah, and just to let you guys know, I was mentioning this yesterday, so let me do it again today. I am working on my favorites box that's going up for raffle. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I was counting. So 10 things are likely going to be in this box. I'm still waiting for things to be delivered. That's why I don't have it. You guys kind of did a quick vote yesterday. You want me to just hint at things? So this weekend, hopefully at least some of my things arrive. But I have some really good ideas for this box. And this is going to be a fundraiser for the Nikki Medoro Show. And so we'll sell raffle tickets and we'll do a live. There's a bunch of online software or apps that will do a live raffle drawing, which is what I would love for it to be, because it could be something fun we could do together and say congratulations. If you are within, let's say, 50 miles of San Jose, I will deliver the box to you. If not, it's getting delivered to your house. But yeah, it's going to be fun. There'll be some big things, some small things, some things that I like, but it's all the things that I like. I'll give some hints. I can't give too many hints because then you're going to know what's in the freaking box.
Can I show you a picture?
Yeah.
This it popped up this morning on my Facebook memories. You know, they show you the pictures from 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
KGO sent me out on a story.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted me to go to a bar where an election night party was happening.
Ooh.
And in front of the bar, they had a cardboard cutout of Barack Obama.
Oh, how funny are you? That is the
I'm like, oh, the old days.
That was a picture. I have that picture, but I had it in a frame. Interesting story. My old friend that I worked with in Sacramento, who now works at KCBS, we did like kind of a Christmas kind of everybody draw names out of a hat type of thing. And he got me a framed picture of Barack Obama with that face. I mean, I'm assuming it's the same picture because it looks almost exactly the same, but it was just his head kind of thing. Yeah, like right there.
Yeah.
No KGO mic in it.
Yeah.
And I had bet my dad that Barack Obama was going to win. And I think it was like $20 or something. And I put the $20 in that frame. I don't know whatever happened to that frame. I think I lost the $20 somewhere. And I put it on my mantle, pissed my dad off every single time he came over. But yeah, those were the days, although I will say Biden is a reasonable guy too. He doesn't stand up in front of a microphone and hate on people all the freaking time, but it's my politics showing. All right. So yesterday, Kim, my daughter tried out for the very first time for a play. Okay. It's called either Zombie versus Geeks or
not
Geeks
for the
versus
very
Zombies.
first time, but for a high school play.
For high school, yeah. High school.
Yeah.
So, and it's through the school.
I'll just note that she's a seasoned performer at this point.
Yeah, she's done all the plays in middle school.
Yeah.
She did pretty much all the plays that they had in elementary school. This is the first play, though. It's not a musical. There's no singing in it. Okay. And so she went to go try out. So you had to sign up like on Sign Up Genius for like a time slot. Okay. And then you had to go there. And so I show up, it's like in the evening or whatever. I show up with my daughter and she meets her friend, and her friend's mom and me we're friends, but her mom's not there. And so I was like, oh, come on, I'll take you guys in there. And so we go in and we're walking and they're filling out their paperwork, and I look around and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm probably not supposed to be here. I'm probably not supposed to walk.
You're like
my
the only
schooler.
mom. Yeah.
Oh, I was the only. But again, I'm going to say this. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't it was the only parent I saw. There was somebody trying out that when they came out, they did not have a parent there. Am I not supposed to take? This is my question. This is why I'm talking about it.
Were you inside the auditorium watching the audition?
No. So
Okay.
it wasn't like the Performing Arts Center. And so there's the entryway where the people were like, here's the paper to fill out. These are the roles you could read, And then you had to go actually into where the stage was. And I did not go in there. So I didn't go that far. And I wasn't allowed to, nobody was allowed to except the director and their staff or whatever. Here's my question. Am I no longer supposed to be bringing my child in to these things?
No.
At all? Because when they were filling out their paperwork, my daughter did look at me. She's like, what do I put here? And it was like, it wasn't anything that she shouldn't have known. It was, do you have any conflicts? Mark them down, which was a good question to ask the mother, the calendar holder, right?
So that's a text. She should be texting you, Mom, are there any conflicts I should write on the conflict sheet?
So as you're waiting in the car.
As you're waiting in the car nearby. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was one of those things. So
I hate to say it. It's just.
But I didn't even think about it, Kim. I did not even think I shouldn't have gone until I was there, and I was texting my mom friend whose daughter was there.
Right.
But she brought her dogs. So I was like, oh, she's sitting in the car with her dogs. And then, so I texted her, I'm like, oh my God, the girls are so nervous. And she's like, are you in there? And I was all, I'm like, yes, but I now do not think I am supposed to be. I was like, I do not.
This is a mom friend moment where all the mom friends descend upon you and lead you slowly back away. No,
but I am not a helicopter. I do not consider myself a helicopter mom, but maybe I am. So then also, okay, fine. It didn't even cross my mind. I was like, of course I have to bring you in. One, it's not during school hours, right? Two, what if they need me? Like, no, I guess not. Mm-hmm. But so leading up to school, there's this thing that's happening today and for the rest of the week called Club Rush. And Kim, your daughter just went through Club Rush.
Yeah,
and it's like a sorority.
A week ago. Yeah.
Where all the clubs at lunch are out there. Okay. They're out there and they're selling themselves to get people to join their club. Right. So there's a theater one, which is great. I told my daughter to do that. I've been so excited about this. So excited that yesterday, during my free time, I decided to go on said club website where all the clubs were listed. And I read all the descriptions. And then I made a list of all the clubs that I think that my daughter should join. No, I don't think my daughter's eyes could have rolled farther back into her head when I told her the clubs that I thought that she should join. But I thought I made very good choices. So let's go here. So there's a theater one. There's something called the Key Club, which sounds like a swinger thing, but it's not. It's like a community service thing.
Okay.
There's the Let's Be Honest Club, which I was going into this thinking of my daughter's interests.
Yeah.
And when she was in middle school, her and her friends at lunch would rate the lunch, right? They do like quick little videos and they would rate. I thought it was really funny. And the Let's Be Honest goes to small businesses and rates them. And
Okay.
I'm assuming it's kind, right?
Yeah.
And then the last club was a finance club, which teaches you about budgeting and investing. And I thought that'd be great. She's going to join the theater club, and then I don't know. It's a crapshoot for
So
whatever else is happening.
did you submit your list of recommendations to your freshmen?
I mean, I memorized them, of course, and then I
Oh.
even marked down the day. So today was the theater club and the key club, and then the Let's Be Honest one is tomorrow, and then the finance one is on Friday. I mean,
You're so
am
funny.
am I not supposed to do these? Okay, not that I'm not supposed. Am I not supposed to have a freaking opinion about anything? Am I not supposed to give an opinion about anything anymore now that she's in high school? Like, come on.
There's supposed to be, this is a moment where if we haven't already in junior high, we have to back off and give them a little independence. Although I did ask my daughter what clubs are available, and she read me the list, and we kind of went through it and went, "Oh, that sounds good. That sounds interesting, and that sounds the." And then she went to school and she did she signed up for the ones she wanted to. She signed up for the bracelet making club, the friendship bracelet making club, a la Taylor Swift,
Right.
and the knitting and crocheting club. I said, "You don't know how to knit or crochet." She said, "But I'm going to learn."
That's how you learn.
And
That's
then
how you learn.
she wants to sign up for the French club. So, but
Which is kind of cool.
at her school, all the clubs do it on one day, and the tables are mobbed, and you can't get in anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, okay. So the other thing, now this is something that's interesting. I hesitated to bring it up.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so to entice kids to the tables, each club is offering like a drink or a food, and you have to buy tickets. So it's a fundraiser, I'm assuming, for the club as well.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is necessarily wrong because it is delicious. And I would go there and it would entice me to go to it, right? Is it wrong? Because it felt wrong when I read it. Okay. I'm just saying it felt wrong. I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm going to say this. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do. I'm not judging. I'm just asking. Is it wrong that the hold on, I want to make sure I want to make sure that the name is right, because if it's not right, I don't want to attach it to the wrong name. But so like the key club I think had boba, which my daughter loves. She absolutely loves boba. Okay.
Right.
But does she want to join the key club? Probably not. Okay, hold on. The name of the club is is the Black Student Union, offering Popeye's chicken.
So you said go by their table and get the chicken?
No, I didn't say anything. I'm just asking, is it wrong that the Black Student Union's food was Popeye's chicken?
No, I mean, that's what they chose.
Okay. So you don't think that it's stereotypical?
Well, I might think so, but if the folks that are fighting against stereotypes think that that's what they want to serve, then who am I to question?
Exactly. Okay, so we were going over the list, and not my daughter, but her friend was saying that's racist. And I was like, it can't be racist. It's their decision
Right.
on whether or not they want to serve the food. So I was trying to use it as a learning opportunity. But then I was thinking to myself, and that's why I was asking the question. Exactly. Kim's right. It is stereotypical, but they chose it, right? Yeah. Now, obviously, if it was not the Black Student Union, nobody would even be questioning it, right? So is it wrong for me to even question why they would do it? I always ask my daughter if she wants me to go with her. Janet, the answer would always be no. So I should just never go to anything. Yeah, see, some people are saying yikes, right? I mean, again, it's their decision. And in all honesty, it's the one booth I'd want to go to. Like, I love Popeye's chicken. Like, if you're going to entice people with good food, that's what I would want to go to. So yeah.
I think there might have been a conversation at that club about, well, if we serve this, what are people going to think? How is it going to look?
It's the Black Student Union. They get to decide, right?
But maybe they considered the optics, and maybe they said, you know what? Screw that. We want to do it. This is what we should do. And we shouldn't let anybody's thoughts about us or prejudice about us get in our way of serving what we want to serve on that day. So forget it. And maybe they pushed past it. I don't know.
Oh, well, this is not very nice, Jim. You are now an old dusty reference book on the top shelf.
Oh,
Someday she'll pull that book back down.
Jim.
I know you're right. I know that they don't care. Not that they don't care. And we have to tell ourselves this, Kim. They're always listening. Even if they are rolling their eyes, they're listening, right? That's what I tell
Yeah.
myself. I go, even though you're telling me to leave you alone and to shut up and whatever.
Debbie
Um,
says, I agree with Lori because Lori also mentioned this. If your daughter didn't mind you being there, it's okay. Believe me, she'll tell you if it's not.
yeah. And when I was in there, as I started questioning my presence, I looked at Marley and I was all, do you want me to wait in here? Do you want me to wait outside? She's like, please go outside. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then, okay, before I made this realization that I shouldn't have been there, I did what I always do, which is I went up to the kids that are running the thing and I'm asking all kinds of questions. I was like, so does anybody get cut? Like, are there and they were really nice to me. Was that wrong too? Was I
Yeah, you
wrong?
probably should have backed away. It's a time where we don't get to do that anymore. There will be moments in high school where they're going to want parent involvement and help. We're going to need to go to fundraisers. We're going to need to go to events and pitch in and help raise money and help clean tables or whatever we need to do that. To help to further these clubs or their organizations that they've joined or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, in general, I think it's our moment to back away a little bit. Although I have to tell you, you're not alone. Because
Yeah.
again, we read through the clubs too, and I was like, you should join the and she's like, the minute I say you should fill in the
Yeah.
blank, it's
There's
a
nothing
no-go.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a I'm gonna do the exact opposite of whatever you just told me to do. I mean, we have a great
Well,
relationship, but whatever. But
yeah.
yesterday I was concerned about friendships.
Oh,
And
well, it's a tough one.
both of my kids are struggling in school to make connections. And this little boy yesterday, Jacob was sharing a drawing with him, and
Mhm.
he turned to some other kids and said, "Are you guys excited about my party?" And Jacob was right there and said, "Oh, you're having a party?" And the boy looked at him and said, "It's not your business." And it was like, okay, he was having a birthday party and my kid wasn't invited. And I get that
Oh,
these things happen, but I was concerned about that and I'm, feeling sad about it. And my husband said, you cannot bulldoze their pathway. You have to let them deal with
yeah.
it. Like you can't
So
make
hard
this
though.
okay for them. You can't, try to get Julia ahead of time to get a group of girls together for homecoming to get ready with and take pictures for. She has to do
To
that.
do that. I
And if she doesn't,
know.
then she's just not going to have a group of girls to go with, but you can't make it happen for her. You just like you can't make it happen for, I don't know, whatever, call the teacher and complain about the birthday thing that happened. I didn't, but I
Right.
wanted to. Like,
Yeah.
kids shouldn't be talking about their parties at school, but I don't want to be that mom either. So I can't bulldoze their way through it. Like they're going to have to deal with hardships and adversity and figure things out, but it's still hard not to. So
Of course it is.
I got accused of it yesterday too. Just to let you
Well,
know.
I think, and
In
again,
solidarity.
I feel like I'm not. So, for instance, yesterday when I was with my daughter and her friend, it didn't seem like her friend minded me being there, right? Like her friend came out, we were talking about her audition, and
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she was just being nice to me, but I do know this kid. I've known this kid since she was really little. Didn't
Yeah.
seem like she minded, but no, from here on out, I'll wait in the car.
You got to
I
back
mean,
away. I know it's
I'll
hard.
wait in the car. I do totally get the whole friendship thing. Not only that it's not that I want to bulldoze like a clear, no obstacle path. I'm also teaching my child politeness, right? Like,
Yeah.
what if she does have a crew? Have you asked if anybody else wants to join you? Those sorts of things. Like, not
Mhm.
to be empathetic when you are part of the group, to look around and see who else is standing by themselves, right? That's a hard thing to teach kids because they're just happy to be in the big part of the circle, right? It's hard to open up and look beyond and be like, who else can join? How can we make our table longer instead of like, let's close off our table because we're the cool, like whatever group of friends. And so that's hard. I just feel like I need to realize that she's in high school and that high school is
Yeah.
not middle school or elementary
Yeah.
school.
Eric wants you to let her spread her wings and fly.
I will. I mean, geez,
Yeah.
it's not as if, I'm going in the bathroom with her and wiping her ass or anything. It was my first encounter of something extracurricular that didn't need my signature, didn't need,
Right.
like it didn't need me.
Yeah.
It didn't need me to sign anything, to write a check, to do anything. I'll write a check, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, Sam, thank you for the $10 donation. He
Yeah.
says, "Welcome to the High School Parents Club." I know, right? It's so hard to know what the right thing is to do. It just is. I'm going to probably have many, many more stories as I continue to be the parent of a high schooler. But I trust my daughter. I think that she's smart. I think that, she can be kind. I think that, she'll make good decisions. Yeah, I mean, my kid can be polite. My kid can also be, in my opinion, a kid, a teenager, and sassy and all those sorts of things. And yeah, Jim, and I know that she's always listening. So Kim also had said, Schaffer had said, try reverse psychology. Yeah, my daughter doesn't. She knows when I'm using reverse psychology on her, so she's not buying any of that. Tell her to join the club she does not want to join, so she'll choose the clubs that I think that she should join. But the difference here is, and I was telling you, Kim, this earlier. My son, now I could be wrong because he's still a couple of years away from high school. I swear to God, my son's going to sit down with me and totally be down for my opinion. Oh, Jim, thank you so much for the $10 donation and a happy Wednesday to you. Yeah, I think Dylan is a totally different kid, obviously, but I just feel like, wow, am I this far off? I guess I am. Lori says, give yourselves a break. This is new. Remember lessons for the next kid. Stop berating yourselves. Stay open and listen to kids. Not always doing what they want necessarily. Yeah. And it's always the next kid, right? Like Marley throws in my face. I don't know why I had this when I did it. You took my phone away, or fill in the blank punishment. And like Dylan's different. I'm like, it's the joy of being the firstborn, my child. I do not know what to tell you. So there you go. Okay, we have time to get a kind of weigh in on this one other thing, and that is these two people right here. Hold on, I have a picture of them. Okay.
Oh, Oprah and The Rock. So, he's wearing a shirt that says "Love for Lahaina."
There you go. And she has a home, a lot of property, right, in Maui.
She has a home in Kula, which actually caught fire. Not her home, but the town of Kula up there, upcountry Maui. So near where she owns property. Yes.
Right. Now, as of September 3rd, the fire in Kula and Olinda were 90 and 95% contained. So pretty much contained. Although please don't leave. Okay, please. Well, anyways, they posted a video to Instagram in which Oprah Winfrey is standing with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and they introduced the People's Fund of Maui, which they say aimed to help raise money for local residents affected by the tragedy. Okay, which is great. They also said they'd been inspired by Dolly Parton's philanthropy and believe people were skeptical about how to help, so they created a fund where people could donate. There's a whole long caption that's associated to this that I won't read. But basically it said every adult resident who was displaced by the wildfires in Lahaina and Kula would be eligible to receive $1,200 per month to help them through the period of recovery. They also provided a link where those directly impacted could apply for the funds. The caption went on to say, we're honored to start this campaign with $10 million and ask for your help in donating to those who have lost their homes. We thank you in advance, blah, 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 blah. It received more than 60,000 comments, but many of them were by people who thought the idea, that did not like the idea of wealthy celebrities appealing to regular working people to provide the eligible funds. Ricky says, millionaires ask me for money, smacking my head. What do you think? They put up $10 million
of their own money. I mean, I'm assuming $5 million each.
Yeah. So Super Mike says, I'll give 1% if they do. Interesting. Look, are they rich? Hold on, let me look up. I meant to do this. Oprah Winfrey's net worth. Oprah's net worth is okay. So her net worth is $2.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think she should give up half of her net worth to rebuild Maui? No. Right? I mean, at what point? is it good enough that they gave $10 million? One person wrote, math ain't mathin' with this one. You guys literally have so much money. You can donate it and make it back within a year. Another one said, I support Maui and the cause, but why are you asking us common folk who live paycheck to paycheck? We struggle to put food on the table. Who helps us?
They want Oprah and The Rock to ask their millionaire celebrity friends.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson, by the way, is worth $270 million. So he's the highest paid actor. He's the world. I didn't know that. He's the world's highest paid actor.
You know why? Because he works like the devil. That guy has been in so many movies. Every time you turn around, here comes another Disney flick.
Right. I mean...
And he's now in that series, and I don't know if it's on Netflix or what channel it's on, about football.
Right.
Which is, I tried watching it because he was in it, and it's very, like, sex, drugs. There's a lot of vulgarity. It's not your traditional something The Rock would do, but yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's read some of these comments. Eric says it's not going to hurt her. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
It's not going to hurt her. If she gives $1 billion, she still has over $1 billion left, which is more than a human can spend in a lifetime. Yeah, but I bet she spends a lot more than the average human. I mean, don't you think? She's got all kinds of people.
I bet this isn't the only charity that Oprah has given to when it comes to
she
the
has
wildfires
her
in Hawaii.
In Africa. She has she does a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Oh, and I didn't say thank you to Beth real quick. Hold on, let me say thank you to Beth. High school unfortunately happens when kids' hormones are swinging all over the map.
That's the
thank you for the $20 donation.
Thank you, Beth.
I'm sorry I missed that earlier. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just feel like, is this where we are, where people will give $10 million and we're like, is that all? Or is it because there is such an income disparity in this country and other parts of the world, but we're talking about the United States. In this country, they're like, how dare you? Like, no freaking way. There's no way I should be donating. You should be donating and donating and donating and donating.
Well, what about using their faces and their personalities and their credibility to have a legitimate fund to raise more money than would have been raised? I mean, there are already all these charities, and now people may be inspired to give more because they love Oprah or because they love The Rock or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's even more money given to people. What, $1,200 a month for people that are affected?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And so we're complaining that they gave $10 million of their own money to start this fund, as if no one else should contribute if they feel moved to contribute. If you don't want to contribute, then look away and don't do it. Otherwise, what are you bitching about?
Yeah. Karen says, let's talk about generosity, not snipe at anyone who wants to help. Oprah and The Rock are doing something good. Come on.
Right.
Louise says, I heard she hasn't actually donated yet, but who knows what's true. Well, they've pledged, and I'm sure to set something like this up, I'm also sure to give $10 million to anything there's some paperwork involved. Like, I don't live in this world. I have no idea what goes into donating. I'm sure it's not just writing a check, but who knows? I'm sure she's going to be good for it. Murphy, people were saying, how can we help? Well, here it is. If people cannot donate, they don't have to. Exactly. Yeah. Chris says, why not give thousands of people give to billionaire Trump every single day? Yeah. Right. I mean, and why? Why are you, at least they're not asking you to donate to them, which is what Trump's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are doing good. It really does. It's sat wrong with me. I'm like, come on. Yeah. Now there was one video, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, Kim, because you know the area. Some people were saying that Oprah had hired a private firefighting crew to kind of save her property or to watch her property. Remember when we were having a lot of the wildfires down in Southern California, a lot of the rich people were being called out because they were funding private firefighting services that would go specifically to their house. I don't know how much of that is true or false. I don't see anything wrong with trying to protect what's yours. Like, anybody would do that, right? Anybody would do that.
So a lot of wineries apparently do this, and very fancy homeowners in the hills of Napa.
Right.
And other places too, but that's where I first heard of it after a wildfire in Napa, that there are private firefighters that you can hire to patrol your neighborhood, your area, your property,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and keep it safe. And yeah, so she has been accused of hiring these private firefighters to protect her big estate up in the Kula area. Uh, after requesting donations, I guess, yeah, she apparently used these private firefighters to protect her land. I bet it wasn't just her land. I bet it was, people always think, oh, this celebrity is so selfish, right?
Right.
I bet it wasn't. I bet it was her land. I bet it was her neighbor's land. I bet it was the people across the street. I bet it was the whole area that she, hired these other firefighters. And by the way, you can keep them on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can hire them for firefighting season. And I would think, listen, if I had a multi-gazillion dollar winery up in the hills of Napa, sure, bring me the firefighters if I can afford it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. So this TikTok video that was made says Winfrey hired a team before the fires and didn't help displaced people, which we know isn't true because we've seen her, even if it was a photo op at shelters, bringing supplies and pillows and blankets to the displaced.
Yeah, I think they wanted her to actually house some of these people
There's a
on her
big,
property.
there's a big kind of conspiracy theory that
Mhm.
Oprah is the one who
That
is
started the
gonna
fire. Oh,
because she wants all the real estate and she's going to come in and sweep in with her billions and build up all these Oprah resorts and da. Come
you don't think that she
on.
would fit? I mean, come on. Larry Ellison did it. Do you still see the protesters out there? He bought a freaking island. Um, Look, I don't know Oprah. I just know her persona that she shows us publicly,
Yeah.
and I don't think that she would do something like that. I also feel like The Rock and Oprah, they know what bad PR is. We have a PR theme today, and I'm sure that they're pushing all this aside and be like, "Look, we want to help. We're going to donate our money.
Right.
This is the way." And you know what? Maybe they put up 10 million and they realize we can get everybody to donate. People are reaching out to us. How do I
Yeah.
donate? How do I help? And they're like,
Mhm.
let's set this up. It makes sense. Karen says, I don't think they should be criticized. It may be only the beginning of what they add to the fund. Exactly. And then Louise, I love you, Louise. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. He says, donate equals giving what I want and can. I don't think Nikki and Kim are going to say, come on, Louise, you can give more. LOL. Seriously, people do little to nothing complaining about people who are
Yeah.
doing something. Exactly.
Right.
And thank you, Louise, so much for your donation. Yeah, it's just $10 million is not an
Yeah.
amount. Yes. Is it a little bit of what's going to be needed to rebuild Maui and to make people whole? Of course. But it's something, it gets the ball rolling.
And who are we to say how much they should give of their own personal fortune?
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like Luis's point, I don't care. And Luis, I hope you have billions in the bank. I hope you're rolling in dough.
Yeah.
But whether he is or whether he isn't, who am I to say, oh, you've given too little. Oh, you've given enough. Oh, you should give more.
When
I
is
mean,
enough,
no.
right? Like bleed yourself dry,
Why
give
don't you
your
just
firstborn.
say
Like, what the hell?
whatever somebody gives, why don't you just say thank you? Because you know
Exactly.
what it is? It's more than you had 5 minutes ago, right? It's
Mhm.
more than you had before. So it's a thank you. It's an I'm grateful for whatever you donated instead of judging and bitching about how much you think that person ought to have given.
Yeah.
Rude.
I
That's the
just
rude.
it is
Yeah.
rude.
Mhm.
And it's really it's just an example of like why people don't want to do nice things, right? They're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to do it because I'm just going to get criticized anyway. If she didn't do anything, maybe she just did something privately, that'd be one thing. And now she's trying to do something where, she gets other people, not just other people in the United States, but around the world. This is going to be international, and maybe she'll donate more. Who says she's not going to? So if you wanted to apply, it's called the People's Fund of Maui. This is what the website says. If you're a Maui homeowner or renter, 18 and older, whose primary residence was lost or became uninhabitable in the Lahaina and Kula fires, provide your information below to apply for the financial assistance. It will be granted to homeowners and renters. It excludes property owners not living in the residence. Complete the form for each eligible adult. This sounds like they're really trying to be on the up and up so people also don't get scammed. And it sounds complicated. It sounds complicated. I'm sure there are so many legal things that need to be done in order to not only raise this amount of money, but disperse these funds and not get scammed. I mean, come on. We all remember COVID and the PPP funds, right? So I am positive that they're trying to avoid something like that. Oh, thanks, Dan, on the new mic. It's beautiful, isn't it? I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
I like the this comment from John. I think people should complain about Oprah and The Rock giving 10 million bucks when they give 11 million. Like if you want to give 11,
Exactly.
then you have room to complain, right?
Excellent point. Exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. But that's that saying, right? Like you never get criticized by people that are doing more than you. You only get
Yeah.
criticized by people that are doing less than you. like, are you doing what I'm doing? Oh, you seem to stand in judgment, but you're not even doing close to what I'm doing. So why don't you just zip it? But Eric's kind of in that camp. Malarkey, Nikki. Chump change for Oprah and her elitist, wealthy coastal friends and politicians. How much have you donated, Eric? Right? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't need to defend Oprah. She can do it on her own. She has plenty of money. And I don't think this is the last penny she's going to give to Maui. Okay. I doubt this is the last thing that she's going to do. I'm sure as they're rebuilding, she'll probably be helping donate money to that as well. I don't know. Louis says, if you have the money to pay to protect your property, then why not? It's taking care of your stuff and anyone would have done that. Exactly. Now, again, if with the wildfires in Southern California, what people were saying is these private firefighters were passing by homes on fire to go protect the other one. Now that's a tough one, but that's a tough one. I'm just going to say that, if you're paying and you're hired to do something, that'd be tough.
Square says, I don't believe it's shady for them to spearhead the effort. Was she planning to run in 2024 or for the Senate in 2026?
Right.
I don't think she has ulterior motives here.
I don't
I
either.
think she legitimately cares about the people of Maui and wants to help. And so does The Rock. I mean, he's from Hawaii. She's, obviously has a love for the island to buy a big spread up on Kula, up country. So I don't know. I don't.
mean,
yeah.
I don't think she's going to run for public office. Everyone always mentions Oprah as someone that's going to run for president or something. Again, thankless job as president of the United States. I don't know who the hell wants that job. I mean, when you do good, there's like half the country that hates your ass, right? So be Oprah. Be worth $2.5 billion and do the hell you want.
Eric disagrees. He says it's chump change for Oprah and her elitist, wealthy coastal friends and politicians.
Yeah. I understand why some people might say that as they watch rich people ask them for money. You don't have to give any. But how many times when this was first starting did people say, how do I know where to donate that's not going to get scammed? People were saying Red Cross, obviously. There were all these Maui funds. Well, here's one. And they seem to be wanting to do their due diligence and hand out money. And some people were saying, well, where's my money? Where's my $1,200? You got to give this at least a breath to get sorted out. Oh, thank you, Marilyn, for the $10 super sticker. You're awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you. That's so sweet. And that's what you're supposed to say when people give you money. Not, you only gave $10 million. Like, Jesus. Like, I swear to God. Oprah for president, The Rock for the VP? No.
A Democrat and a Republican together, huh? I don't know.
Is The Rock a Republican?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because there were rumblings that he was going to run. You're going to search it now? Yeah. There were rumblings that he was going to run for office. And so I remember looking it up back then, and he would have run as a Republican if he ran. So.
Let's see here. I mean, it's kind of back and forth. Well, apparently, former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney had put back in 2022 Dwayne Johnson in the same company as Ron DeSantis and Trump.
Yeah.
And again, look, I don't have a problem with you being a Democrat or a Republican as long as you're not taking away any of my fundamental rights. How about that? Like, you can disagree about policy on fiscal stuff and things like that. Stay the hell out of my uterus and my doctor's office. And most of the time we'll be fine. And in our libraries. And in our schools. And well, maybe I do have a problem with you being a Republican. Just that kind of Republican. Yeah, I didn't know that he was a conservative.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I like The Rock in some movies. I like him best when he's playing opposite like Kevin Hart or something, like some sort of comedic thing.
Right.
Straight roles. And I haven't seen him in Ballers, which is, I think, the show that you were referring to earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't really watched it. It doesn't appeal to me, but I love when him and Kevin Hart are together. They crack me up. Because apparently they're really good friends too. And so yeah.
So here's
Oh.
something I can tell you. Johnson has publicly flirted with the idea of running for office for years, though he has never declared himself for either party. He has ties to Republican campaigns and events in the past, but publicly supported the Biden-Harris ticket in 2022, and he's remained pretty cagey about his affiliation, calling himself a political independent and centrist. But I have read, especially when he was talking about running for office, that he would run as a Republican. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that all of his policies are ones that I disagree with. I don't know. But I think it's important to note that just because you like someone's personality or their public
Mhm.
persona doesn't mean that when you really scratch beneath the surface, that you really agree with all the things they think,
Yeah.
you know?
Kim says he voted for Biden and Harris and not Trump, but that
Yeah.
could have just been a moral vote because who the
Mhm.
hell would vote for Trump? And then finally, Louise says, let's see Trump, McConnell, Biden, or Oprah. Which one would I trust in making sound decisions? How about an Oprah and McConaughey ticket?
Wow.
Dude, if I lived in Texas, I think that McConaughey is going to run for office in Texas at some point. I
Yeah.
really, really do. I think that all signs are pointing to him wanting to have some sort of political play. I don't live in Texas though. That'd be so much fun though. I am going to see him soon though. That's happening.
What's the date on that?
Hold on. I think is it next week?
Yeah, it's coming up.
I want to say the 13th or the 14th. Hold on. It is the 14th. I
Yeah.
am so freaking excited. I just can't believe that I bought a $20 ticket to meet the guy. Like,
Thank you, Delette.
thank you, Delette. Yes. Oh my God. I'm so excited. So do you think that I'm allowed to bring like other books besides the book that he's signing
No,
to sign?
no,
I don't want you to tell me no. Really?
no. I think it would be a lovely idea, but it's not done. It's in poor taste, and they'll tell you don't do it. If you read the instructions for the event you're going to, it says no. I'm sorry.
I
You'll
don't
be lucky
remember
to
reading that.
get a picture and also have someone film it so that we can see the whole thing.
I don't know if she's here. Amy, you said you were going to go. Is anyone else going to go? Because we need to meet up in line and be near the front. I need to get there early, obviously. Is Matthew coming? No, but he's going to be at Dreamforce, by the way. He's like a huge, he's like a background person for Salesforce. So
You
he's
should
gonna be
ask
at
him to come
Dreamforce.
on the podcast. Say,
Oh.
please come on my podcast.
Please come on. I will. I know. I need to give him like,
Yeah.
believe me, if I can get out any words, I'll be very proud of myself.
You need to have it all
Absolutely.
written down. Like you need to have it all written and then just hand him the paper and say, please come to all my podcasts.
Please, please, please. I am such a fan.
Call yourself a
broadcast-
major San
I
Francisco
broadcast
radio
your thing.
personality.
I should
that-
take a picture of this
Yeah.
and show him. I'm like, your book is in prominent display on my show for free. Just come on my podcast.
Yeah.
Done. I will try my best to get him on the show. All right, you guys, click the thumbs up button. A big thank you to everyone that donated to our super chat. We do appreciate it. If you
Oh,
can't
wait.
donate, oh,
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you. A $20 donation. Well, I was just going to do all the thank yous right now anyway, but thank you, Brian, so much for the donation.
Yeah.
Marilyn, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Luis, $10. Thank you so very much. Beth Farmer coming in with a $20 donation. We love
Nice.
you. Jim, I love seeing your name in the chat room. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. And Sam, thank you.
Yeah,
$10
Sam's
donation.
awesome.
Love the conversation we had about high school. I'm slowly but surely learning, my friends. I'm
Club
slowly but
Rush.
surely. I
You're
know.
so funny.
We'll see. I'll update you. I don't know. Maybe on Monday we'll update it because that's when it's all done. All right, you guys, if you need any information to share the show, just go to theNikkiMedoroShow.com. Head on over to Mark Thompson and the After Party Live, and we'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.